2.
Come on, Terri.
Doors ready.
Uh, uh, we, we did this last time. It was funny, like Charlie's Angels.
So thank you all for being here. We got Miss Terri Smith, superstar. We got the First Lady Erika Wombman, and we are here on Codebreaker Real Talk, and I'm Veronica Bartolini. So thanks again for being on. And the other day, Erika and I were talking about that there was a meme or a post saying that if people paint their nails, you know, they kind of like oppress the light, because the nail is actually the shiniest part of our body other than our hair and our cuticles and all that, but the nails, right? And then I'm like, wow, because there's metal also in nail polish. But at the same time, Miss Lady Erika and she said, girl, you know how to remote view. Don't let that, scare you or whatever, stop you.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I do.
We have power.
Yeah, we have all.
Terri, I'm gonna let you say something about that, because it's all these little gotchas, and we were talking to Scott and Tyler about that too. These gotchas, like if you eat sugar, if you eat meat, if you smoke cigarettes, if you put on fake fingernails, if you put on nail polish, if you have a tattoo.
Oh yeah, the tattoos. I think we were talking about like the cult addiction too, but go ahead, Miss Terri.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm just gonna say that we can listen to what everybody else says, right? And we're giving our power away. But if we do it because it makes us feel kind of special to do our nails or whatever, then that's a higher vibration, and it's a frequency that we're bringing our into our space. And yeah, we can have a whole list of everything, but we want to live and we want to enjoy life, and so we have to find those things that give us pleasure. So maybe sometimes those little pleasures like nail polish are okay. It depends on how much power we give to the product itself. I mean, if you are addicted to having the really long nails and that's all you got to, that's what you have to do, then maybe there's a question there. But just to do these things for yourself, to make yourself feel better, I don't know. Are we giving our power away, or are we just enhancing our power?
And who's coming up with these things? It makes me feel like, you know how Mormons or pilgrims and like these different groups, it's like this way to dominate women and make them into less, like it's you got to be ashamed of your beauty, type thing. And it makes me think about all of it, because I know I heard about the tattoo and the ink. And then I felt that, when people said, oh, if you eat meat, then, you're not going to ascend, that it just seems like people are making up little gotchas so that I can win and you lose, because conveniently it'll never be what that person's doing that won't let you in. You know what I mean? It's like, oh no, I don't eat meat. So if you eat meat, you're not going to make it. It's like this way of trying to make me feel better about myself and put something on you where it's like, ooh. And I said, if we can sit here and transmute water.
Yes.
And transmute water, if we can call in healing, and you got powers of Reiki to ignite people's spirit and how do you say, rejuvenate people's cells on a cellular level, how does nail polish block God's source, whatever you want to call it, power to do divine things in your life? So it just starts to sound ridiculous. And then you just get to looking around like, who the fuck is doing all this? Because it's a bunch of 3D traps, 4D traps that people are trying to set up, so that you can basically end up in some type of new church with some theology. We're making up a new religion as we go.
It's like New Age, and it sounds like it sounds kind of like the extreme right hand path. There is a book called 48 Powers of 48 Laws of Power.
Yes.
And the Illuminati, right? The Masons or whatever, the elite wannabe cabal, they always name the person in the book as the victim in the book. Like, this is how you go about getting your victim, or this is how you go about making them feel bad or whatever. So I feel that some of this stuff is coming from that pyramid, you know, that way people can get confused and give up on themselves or their journey or speaking in public, because a lot of people are very afraid to have their own YouTube channel and speak. Also what I was having a hard time with, and then I said no more, I'm no more going to listen to this love and light community when they were talking about, oh well, if you eat late dinner, you know, you're not going to be able to go to the astral. I'm like, B word, I gotta eat. I gotta be full before I go to bed. You know what I'm saying? Oh,
you got calories to burn.
One of the things is we are each having we're each an expression of the divine or of source, but we're each having a unique experience. So my experience is different than yours, Veronica, and yours, Erika, and what's right for me may not be right for you, you know? So people are so ready to judge, or they say, you know, like they put everything in boxes, but you know, we don't have the right to judge someone else because everybody's having their own experience and they have their own path that they are creating back to source.
And showing you because you're creating a struggling a box for someone else to trip over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we got a card. It's shiny, Veronica.
What is it?
I was muted. It's the Three of Pentacles. And then now is the time to call on the talents of others. You may have skill, but it is not enough to pull off what you want to create. You are going to need help from other people who think and create differently than you. That's exactly what we're talking about. When you can build a team where everyone gets to play to their strength, it says to their strengthens, you will be unstoppable. So see how she's like mixing the everybody. Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about.
I got one really strong point on that last thing too, because like when I went to Egypt, I think I told you, I like ran out of money. Like my money was on American Express. I couldn't use it. And I thought of how can I make money out of thin air, you know? And in like 24 to 36 hours, I raised $1,300. And now it's like, oh my God, people always say, what if money was no object? But what if money was not an obstruction? What if you didn't use it as an obstruction or an objection? If you remove the idea that that is an obstruction, then I can do anything. It's the same thing what we're talking about, because people would like to say, oh I would like to meditate, but I live in my mom's house and it's so loud and it's so noisy. And they would like make up a reason why I have to fail. Okay, well, go in the closet or learn to bypass noise and just do it anyway and see what happens. Or, you know, go sit in the car or driveway. Like if we keep looking for reasons to fail, that's all we're going to do is fail, right? We're just making up rules. Even when I did a vision board class, the man said, should I look at it every morning for 10 minutes? I said, where'd you come up with 10 minutes? I never said anything about that in my class. And he had made up some arbitrary number. I said, why are you giving yourself goals that you can't achieve so that you can trip and fall?
Limitations.
You're giving yourself limitations because I think we're so, you know, used to these self-limiting beliefs that we're taught all these limitations that we can't even not make new ones. We're just making shit up. It's gonna be like, I'm gonna fail. I'm just gonna fail.
What I tell people is, because this is what I do, okay, and I don't know if it has to do something with my me growing up and also with my background. So I always go through the worst case scenario in my mind. And I say, if this, then I'm going to do that. If that happens, then and then I like say you pick a subject. You know, say I'm going to invest in buying something that you really wanted to buy, or you know, it could be it's simple stuff. And then you go through the scenarios. What if this happens? Well, then I'm going to do that. You know, go and then picture yourself. I picture myself through the worst thing possible, and then I work myself backward, and I'm like, I got this. I've been homeless before. I got this. You know, I died before. I got this. So it's
There you go. You died before.
We are
You overcame death.
Dude, yes.
You overcame death.
Yeah.
I know in Theta too, we go past the law in the fifth plane. So in the fifth planes, there's the laws. And all we know about is the law. We learn about the law and we learn that God is not compassionate. But then in the next part of our meditation, we move into this pink cloud, and it's the law of compassion. And then we move above into going straight to the creator, to work with the creator. But what if you could do this in your life? Skip the laws, go through compassion and understand that God is compassionate. And when you're working directly with source, then who can tell source that no? Who can say no? You know, if God commands it, if he wills it, you can't stop him. And so as we begin to go about our lives and set goals for ourselves and, you know, make plans for ourselves, once I say, this is God's source's will for my life, show me how to do this. Show me that I'm great. Show me that I'm chosen. Show me that, you know, I am your awesome daughter. Who can stop him? Veronica can't stop him. Veronica can do whatever she wants. You can't stop him from moving beyond the laws.
It reminds me of when I was still in the church and believing in religion, I saw this beautiful movie, Esther. And you got to watch that movie, Esther, and how somehow she found favor in the king, and they got married, and they were trying to kill her and kill the king, and you know, before all this, and she was a poor girl. They were trying to kill her when she was young and a baby, and they ended up killing her parents. Her grandfather, you know, rose her up. I don't know how to say that, brought her up. And so it was just a very beautiful, she had so much compassion and so much for the truth, you know, in her heart. That story to me, like, really helped me, as well as $1 Million Baby.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to keep going and going, and don't take no for an answer. If you know in your heart that you got to do something, there is no limit. You know, in high school, they used to teach us the sky's the limit. And I'm like, there is no limit. Like, why do you guys put yourself in boxes? Like, you know?
Yeah.
And I do go.
And I think because we learned about not having a compassionate, we learned about this angry God that wanted to punish you and set you on fire, for 1,000 years, and you'll be thirsty and you'll be hungry, you're gonna starve to death. Like, that doesn't make any damn sense. Like, that God would do that, but he'll give you the desires of your heart. On the other hand, he'll give you the desires of your heart. He'll make a street paved with gold, and then he's gonna set you on fire. Like, what?
Yep. Go ahead, Miss Terri.
I think the important thing is that if you look to what, you know, the whole mess in front of you, it becomes overwhelming. But if you just take it, if you're just in the now moment, in the present time, you have the strength to overcome whatever it is that's facing you right now. And then don't worry about what's happening, you know, what's going to happen tomorrow. Yeah, you'll have a plan, but you've got to just work through it on a daily basis, on a now moment basis. And the rest will take care of itself if you are being present in the time, in your time, right? Instead of worrying about, oh my gosh, what's going to happen with, you know, with 11 puppies, for example. How am I going to do that? You didn't do that.
Right.
You just went day by day with it, right? And you know, they all found homes. And yes, you had that initial, what am I going to do with 11 puppies? But you just did it on a day-to-day basis, and you got phone calls or whatever. And miraculously, everything turned out.
Everything looked
Yeah,
good.
it was like if I had a baby, because one of them unfortunately had passed, when I saw that I saw her, Lola, and the puppies in the desert. And so I had 10 left, and I said, what am I gonna do? And I put them all in a little box, and I'm like, I have a really small junior 1-bedroom apartment and I have 2 cats. What am I gonna do?
Wow.
What am I gonna do? So all I knew is I'm not gonna take them to the Humane Society because they'll be separated, and I just knew that I had to take care of them. But sometimes at night, I was like, because I wouldn't sleep for a whole month. It was so hard to sleep because I didn't want Lola to like trample over them or sit on them, and I had to make sure all of them got fed. And some nights I just wanted to pull my hair out. I'm like, what do I do? What am I doing? But I just knew that if I go through it, just like when you're pregnant and you have a kid, there's no way out but through it. So you gotta go all the way till that baby's born, and you gotta go through that pain. And once you make that decision, you go through it. But what ends up happening is that sometimes people will just give up a quarter
Yeah,
of
they
the
get
way.
overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
We had a discussion about that the other day. Yeah.
Sorry, it
Because people want to life hack it. People want to life hack so they can get through things without having pain, without breakups, without exercise, anything. If they can skip a step and get to the good, juicy part, then, but there's all these days in between where, look at that, you had suffering, but then you had victory.
Mhm.
There has to be lessons in between and a
What
story.
the lesson for me was real quick was that I needed to learn how to ask for help. And that's because of my upbringing. I don't know about you ladies, but I was brought up that if we went to go visit someone and we were starving and they offered us some water, we'd say, no, thank you, I ate, I'm full. Or if they put a plate of food, no, thank you. My mama would whip my butt if,
Where did that come from? I get it though. I do get it. I do get it.
Yeah.
Because have you ever been at someone's house and they showed you any kind of hospitality and then they talked about you behind your back? You're like, girl, do you see how much she ate? Do you see how much? Ooh, that her kids look hungry.
I grew up in an opposite kind of a culture where everybody was force feeding you wherever you went, and if you didn't eat, then it's like, I'm not hungry. Eat, So
yeah.
it was just a different culture. It was a cultural thing, right? So I think we have different cultures have a way of I don't know. I guess there was always a shortage of food from where they came from, so they wanted to make sure everybody was always didn't matter.
Well, yeah, thank you, Terry. That's actually how my mother was. When my family would come over, I'd have to, even if we didn't have any food, I don't know, get a piece of bread or two, toast them and put some butter and some nice strawberry, make coffee.
Yeah.
My mom always makes sure that that's me too. It's like my kids come over, or a stranger comes, hey, I'm cooking, you want some? Like I always make sure that whoever's here visited me will either have a cup of coffee or something to eat, because I know I grew up poor, that sometimes we didn't have food. I remember my dad had made he made a thing out of wood. We were Catholic back then, a little prayer thing. And one day we didn't have nothing. And my dad he said, you got to kneel and ask God. This is the whole Illuminati Catholic stuff we went through. And
Catholic.
And I pray, we need food. And then he would take turns to pray. And then there was a knock on the door. And there was this older lady with a big old pot of beans. I'll never forget. And I told my mom the other day, I go, do you remember, Mom? She goes, yeah, we were so poor. She says, your dad sometimes would have work and sometimes he didn't. He was a mechanic. And then he wouldn't charge people sometimes, and I'd get mad at him.
Yes.
Sell the meat. And he said, you and your dad were the tallest and biggest ones out of the 5 of us. And your dad had to eat the meat, and then you were just there stuck with eating potatoes and rice and beans. And one time it's real funny. One time we were at a restaurant, and I told the waitress, my mom said I was real little, and that I told the waitress, I said, I don't want no papas and frijoles, no beans and potatoes.
Not today.
But yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Yes, my family's like that, to feed people when we can. but at the
Yeah,
same time,
generous to other people.
yeah.
Generous to other people. Yeah.
But my mom, she just had
Yeah.
this thing where she didn't want us girls to be asking. She didn't want
Yeah. But I've met some people that I've just been astounded by the boundaries. You know, like I've lived in a neighborhood where people knock on your door, like, "Can I borrow a trash bag? Can I borrow some printer paper?" You're like, "What the hell?" Like they're not coming for a cup of sugar. They like really need supplies, and
well,
I was
that
weird.
actually happened to me last week, Sunday. I had just gotten some food and I parked by this lady's house, and this lady came and she said, my daughter and I, we don't have any food stamps till the 7th. Can you help us? And I'm like, okay. And I felt so bad. I gave her half whatever I had, and it just, I felt bad because I'm like, she has a child. How can I say no? I just can't say no when it comes to food and stuff like that. And then that night I was so
Sure.
worried. I was like, what's gonna happen? What if I don't have anything? And then I'm like, no, 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 no. Don't let that left-sided reptilian thinking overcome the mammalian right side of your brain, giving side, mark an X. And I'm like, or a stop. And I'm like, no, man, I flow, I manifest, I am always provided for. And so that's interesting that you said that. It hadn't happened for a while. So thank you.
I'd rather give you food than trash
Yeah.
bags. I don't know. It just
Yeah.
weirds me out. People are knocking for printer paper and stuff. I'm like, I don't know. I think it's different because in Florida, like I just feel like there's some different kinds of people in Florida than what I was used to in South Carolina. I think my dad said in the South, people will feed you. In the North, people will give you a drink. Like, so you could come knock on somebody's door, ask for some food in the South, but up north, people will be like, hey, but I'll share share a drink with you, but not your food. It is. It's like just different people, different places. I sure don't like to see, it's so funny that you even bring that up too, because my first career choice in college was social work. And when you go take the classes, you have to go volunteer. And I found a shelter in West Virginia, Sojourner Shelter. And I did not know that they had a limit on clothing. And I would just bring clothes out of my closet. I would get clothes from girls. And I'm like ready to just do it up. And they were like, no, ma'am. They had to sit me down and they let me know, like, people were only allowed to have like 3 outfits. Like in some of these shelters, they would not allow you, if you owned a car, you couldn't own a car. You could only have so many assets. And it's like, how is the person ever going to get on their feet if they can't have a car or have more than 3 outfits? How do you have 3 or less? You know what I mean? Like if you do get a job and want to go, I guess, I don't know. But they'd eat really good because places like Publix and all those different places would like donate the food, or KFC. But I just remember seeing one little girl walking on the back of her shoes, and it was just in me, like, I want to go buy these shoes. And so I decided like that just wasn't something I could do for a living.
It's
I can't
hard.
watch. I can't watch.
There's a place here, Sells, Arizona. When I used to have my own company, 6 years of, Better Home and Garden, Home Interior. I don't know if you guys are aware of that company. It went broke because they would give so much stuff away, home interiors and gifts. And well, I met some ladies over there in Sells, and it's Tohono O'odham property. And they had one major
Client.
like for kids,
Oh,
shelter for kids. And I wanted to show my kids that we were fortunate, because we had just ordered a house to get made, and we just moved in. We were both working. I had 2 jobs, he had 2 jobs. So it's like we had all this stuff, and it's like, wow, like from having nothing when I was a kid to like having it all. I wanted to teach my kids that they were fortunate. So I said, we're gonna go. So 3 times I had them go with me, and it was a 2-hour drive up and 2-hour drive back. And we went through the neighborhood and we said, okay, if you have any extra clothes for kids or any toys that are moderately used, if you can clean them up or wash the clothes, put them in bags. And I did that throughout the whole neighborhood. And we did that with my kids, and my kids remember to this day. They're like, wow, I remember, because I just want to help.
Yeah.
Help those kids.
I would
But
like to do something like that with my son too.
yeah, Miss Terri, sorry.
No, just listening to that's such a beautiful story to pass along.
Yeah. This is something good we should do.
Mm-hmm.
For our kids that play video games and they're like, unenthused. So there's been times I wanted to just show my son, like, do you know there's people that live outside right now, and you complaining,
It's because
but
my
where I live up north, and we had a snowstorm yesterday. So there are people who are homeless, but not as
yeah, in Florida, it's
as
a
noticeable
lot.
in the warmer places, right?
Yeah, it's a lot. I have literally gone outside and walked to the store, and I heard music in the bushes and people laughing, and I was like, what the heck is going on? And there was like 4 people with a tent in the bushes next to the fence. Literally, like, people live here. There's a lady that lives at the Dunkin' Donuts. She lives by that sign at the Dunkin' Donuts with her suitcases. And there's a lot. Like, if you came here, you'd be shocked that I live in such a small place, but there's so many people that don't go anywhere. They live right here.
Yeah, here in Tucson too. I live right by the jail, and there's a lot of homeless around there, and also downtown. They feed the homeless twice a day, and they live in that park. There's a specific park where they're allowed to live.
Oh, wow.
But I have seen sweeps when cops have, like, sometimes it's during the summer that I see it, because it's so hot, and also because the winter
You'll get dehydrated, right?
Yeah, and then when it's really, really cold, they make sure that, blankets are giving out and things like that, so.
So I'm curious, because we're in the business of disclosure and stuff like that. Have you guys literally heard that they ship homeless people to different states? Like sending them to Hawaii or California or?
Yes. Yep, they get them
No,
on.
I never heard that. Wow.
They were doing that 3 years ago that I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard the rumor, but I'm like, they must be shipping them here, because I'm seeing so many on a daily basis, and they're not even old, and they're couples. And I had a couple that were in every morning, I like to let the window up and air my house out and open the curtains. And there was a couple, when I would be opening my windows, they'd be stretching and standing up to start their day. And they're like in the church lot. And every day this was like this. And the pediatrician's office is not that far. It's like church, pediatrician's office, empty lot. And the woman, she passed away on the steps of the church, or not the church, of the pediatrician's office.
That's so sad.
And yeah, and she was pregnant.
Oh.
And but they were like living as a couple. And I don't know how it is for people. Like, you would like to help people. Like, I have a neighbor, and he'll reach out and he'll help. But what ended up happening is, like, one lady started trying to stay in his storage shed, and one lady trying to, like, so it's like you would like to help them, but once you enter that realm of one-on-one, like really trying to help people, then they will like flood you in a way. So I've always been like not able to do that, It may not, and I can't say, I'm not going to say I feel bad. I feel like I just didn't know what to do. Like, I would give people things, but seems like where I live, it will become every day knocking on your door type of, because, you know, it'd be rough.
There's also lines
Lines, yeah.
lines of frequency that are under the churches, under the medical places to control people. They actually will send frequencies to make them feel like they can't leave that place, that they need to be, that they still need to be, you know, homeless. Unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff that happens. And then of course you'll see also close to like the courts, there's ley lines.
Yes.
So
there are a lot by the courthouse. Our big courthouse, if you go down that street at night, like there's lots of restaurants down the street from it. It really looks like Night of the Living Dead when you're walking down that street at night. It really does. There's people just half sideways and a lot of people asking for money and a lot. It's like empty spirits going around, like empty spirits, empty souls or something, lost souls.
Yeah.
There's I know, hopefully I won't get my video taken down, but we don't use the word V, okay, for the, I call it the big.
No.
They took down.
Yeah, Scott got me busted the other day, so.
Yeah. So there is a certain gang here, especially here, close to the border, and also coming from other places. It's Sur 13, SUR 13. And those, those are the people that they're always trying to sweep out of here because, you know, but at the same time, the Vatican uses them. Vatican, the certain, we'll say, military, they will sometimes let them in and do stuff for them. And
see, now that makes sense.
And it's like when people say, oh, let the people come from Afghanistan. Well, a DARPA agent told me 2 years ago that Afghanistan people, soldiers, were being trained here. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, they were. I can witness that. When I was younger in South Carolina, I was near the Navy, the Navy station and the Air Force Base. And on the weekends, that's who I saw. Yeah. But see, now that you said this makes me think there's some soul harvesting. And now I have this supply of souls to harvest, and and you're absolutely right. And the thing, Terry's seen where I live on the map thing, right? Where we showed you 11, it was like no less than 11 churches. And this is one street, 2 streets. It's no less than 11 churches. If I went a little bit deeper make it into a square instead of just 2 streets, I don't know how many churches I would find in this area. And then it's swamped with homelessness. But of course, the church gives out food, so that's the draw. And it's like, here it is. They can just harvest off these people because God help us. You know, if they're missing, no one is going to know, right?
There you go.
Like who's going to report it? And I've never seen it, but it is really warm up here because it's getting warmer. And I'm telling you, I could drive past some spots and see 20 people just standing there that are displaced.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And then you'll see in their eyes, it's kind of like they're programmed to, you know, always use that name that they teach you at church. And I'm like, that's the wrong name. That is Zeus that they're worshiping.
Yeah.
They always make people feel like they're needy, like they always have to be in need mode. And their glaze over their eyes is kind of like this reptilian thing that kind of takes over them. And at the same time, Pleiadian, oh, Jesus loves me. Jesus loves you. And then they're programmed.
This is very strange because
they don't have power. They take these churches.
Taking your power away and to come stand somewhere and wait for someone to give you something all the time. Like projecting poverty on you. Mm-hmm. They're wow.
It's a really effective program. and they have people administering the program who think that they're doing such a wonderful job, and they don't even realize that they're being utilized by the program, right?
Oh my
But they got
goodness.
all the people administering it, and all the volunteers, the church volunteers who are coming and doing all of it. It's when you take a step back and you have that overview, it's like, wow,
Yep,
what have
I did
they
that.
done?
I did that for years.
Yeah.
I played in my violin on Wednesday mornings, collected the money for the pastor. This is when I was in the Christian church. Took care of the babies, made sure that I cleaned their toys, brought them home, cleaned the toys, the linens, made sure I sat people down when I was married. You sit people down, then you count the money. And because we were both, police officers, we had to check out who's coming in the church, who, you know what I'm saying, then who's giving the tithe, who doesn't give the tithe. We were doing so much, and I just felt like, what, you still want me to teach the kids too on Sunday and Wednesdays? Like, where's what the heck? And then in the Catholic, I had to play the violin. I was a speaker. What do you call that? A lector. You got to clean the church. You know what I'm saying? It's like they harvest your energy, so that way you have no time to think about what does V want, what does Veta want for my life.
Oh my goodness, girl.
And then today there was a knock on the door, and freaking Lola's going crazy, and I have a camera here, and then I was looking myself, on the side of my window, like, who are these fools coming up here? So every Thursday they'll put something in my door, and I finally caught them because I was home today instead of being, at the gym or whatever, stuff that I do. And then they're wearing baseball caps, dark glasses. Some of them had like these heavy beards.
Masks? Oh, beard.
Yeah, and then they have t-shirts and jeans, and there was a group of 3 men. And I told the guy, because Lola was going crazy, he put that thing in the door, and I opened the door real quick, when they were already going down. I said, you take that merchandise or solicitation back. I do not consent to you leaving stuff on my door. And the man got so mad. He's like, I'm doing God's work. And he was, and I said, fuck your God. Like, I am not going to let
Well, they've already been taught that other program says, oh, you're being persecuted. So now you can use that to rejoice because you've been persecuted now.
Right. You've been hung on the cross or whatever. But what I'm saying is, people are, how do you know? And I told the office, and I even told the security here, I did an email. I said, because these people, you don't know if they're checking you out, see what you got, or if you're old, like, and you're helpless, or maybe a person is, in need of, maybe they're wheelchair bound and they can take advantage of them. They don't know if some person's going to be home or not. There is a code out there. If you look on Google, you'll see, like, what does it mean when people leave shoes or boots outside their door?
Oh yeah.
Sometimes people will leave boots outside their door. And so what happens is, say that there's an apartment that someone's been in there, and they know that this person is out on vacation. So the people will come put boots by the door, and that night they'll come and raid the apartment and then take the boots back and stuff like that. That's code for that house is empty. So you never know what the heck these people are doing. I'm not saying all of them are doing this, but
that's new. I thought you meant like if I wasn't going to be home, that I leave boots out there so it looks like, oh, I took my shoes off to come home to make it look like I'm home.
That too.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
But if you Google it, why do people leave boots or shoes outside their door? That'll come up. Like, it's code for that house is empty. You know what I'm saying? So, when we were kids, if we had to go out somewhere, my mom would have a family member say, hey, come water my plants, because it'll look like somebody's there. Yeah.
You know what I was asked before too, like when, the guys on the bike, white shirt and the black pants, do they, even the Jehovah's Witness, like, do they go knock on rich people's doors? Like, or it's like you come to people who are already maybe struggling to get them to come, but are you soliciting the wealthy people? And of course, the person who said that, they were trying to say basically that a wealthy person's soul is probably struggling way more than mine because I'm already down here already. Like I'm already down here, you know, that that person might be struggling more. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know why. You're right. And to me, what I saw was it was a gateway to poverty as well, because where I went, they wanted us to all live together if we were single. And so 3, 4, 5 girls or guys living together. If the guys were in the military, they would tell them to leave the military. So now if all you did was this nuclear training or weapons or infantry, what job are you going to find? And so the guys would get out and they would have them doing exactly what you said, carrying the music equipment, playing instruments, not getting paid, working, really busted jobs because they didn't have any skills. And some of my friends, they went back into the military. It was like, why would I do this? I don't, I had a job where if I did get married, I could take care of my wife. But what I'm doing here, I can't take care of anybody. And of course, where I was going, it taught discipleship principles. And it was, everybody thought that they wanted to just work for the church. And so you just wanted to live there, work there, only marry people, they tell you who to date.
Yeah, the people that come by here too are the Mormons. There's young kids that come dressed in the black slacks or the blue slacks with the tie and the white shirt. Sometimes they're on bikes, sometimes they're on foot, and they want to give out Bibles. And those kids, the Mormons, what they do is they'll let their kids go out like for a season. I don't know if it's Ramadan, when it's Ramadan season or what. There's this particular name, the Amish and the Mormons. They will let their kids, their teenagers, experiment the worldly pleasures to see, and then they have them do this ministry thing, going door to door to make them see that the world is really bad and they have to come back pretty much to being in the church and being home. And
so is it, when you say experience worldly pleasure, do you mean like a free-for-all or just observe society so you can say, oh, these people, thank goodness we're not like them?
It's like that, thank goodness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I've done it. I can't commit to anything like these things again. Now, I'll say this, I don't regret it, because this is something me, Terri, and Jonathan have talked about too, is like, whatever I learned from Kingdom Hall and all the churches to observe the world, right? And separate yourself from the world and to not take biological products into your body and to stay separate and to be in control of your facilities. These things were very good, right? And they even teach you to separate yourself from the government, right? To not trust the government. And so I feel like there was this graduation at the point where I realized, okay, but I'm in here and they got their own government and it's hypocritical and they treat people badly or, judge people harshly. So the graduation was to take the same thing that they taught you and review the actual church. And if you review the church and you find it actually lacking in what it's teaching, then now you can free yourself from that teaching and graduate, and so to speak.
Did they teach you guys to not give your blood? Did they say no blood transfusions, just like in Scientology?
Yeah.
Yep. When I was about to get my neck surgery, this one done here in January, they asked me, because I had my lower back done too. I've had 3 surgeries in 2 years. It's really hard.
Wow.
Now I'm back at the gym and going strong. But anyway,
and looking great, girl.
Thank you. You are too, guys. They asked me, do you accept a blood transfusion? And I'm like, I'm O negative, so you guys have to give me O negative. And I said, the only person that I would accept it from, I said, is one of my family members. I told them who, because she hasn't had the baby Jabberwocky.
Yeah.
I said, she goes, well, what if we can't get a hold of your sister? I said, well, how about your blood banks? I said, are they all, have you guys checked the blood for the thing?
Mm-hmm.
The nurse looks at me. I've never been asked that question. How could you not be asked? So
it's kind of like they kind of, when it comes to medical care though, they're holding you hostage too, because they're like gonna make it seem like you're gonna die if we don't do this to you, and then try to put this pressure on you to do whatever we ask you without thinking things through for yourself. So it's good that you can self-advocate.
I'm like, if it's tainted, and if you can't get a hold of my sister, I don't want no blood transfusion. And she looked at me like, but then what if you die? I'm like, well, then I die. But at the same time, I'm like, I was trying to be not, because I scared her. You should have seen the look on her face. And I said, well, we'll play it by ear. I said, well, but you have to sign. And I'm like, oh gosh. They suck.
You brought up an excellent point too, because you said, well, then I'll just die. Because when all these things came about in 2020, I was so grateful to spend time with my son. And we started having these real life conversations. Like was 14 at that time. And I might not always be here. You might not always be here. And so we had to like sit down and think about the fact that we might leave early, or what we think is early. But I did notice that some people were willing to do whatever it takes not to die. And that is scary, because you allow someone to do anything to you because you're so afraid. When before people had this attitude of what? God willing, right? In control, this idea that you can't control, you don't know the days, how many days you have on the planet. I've never seen the idea of people being so afraid. Like people are afraid to die, but what we had was the strangest attitude towards life that I've ever seen, as far as giving up any and every type of freedom, any and every type of, medical knowledge, medical care. Just do whatever you want to me. Just promise me that I won't die. When there is no promise, no matter what we take, no matter what medicines we take. Even if I always tell people this, like, you could be the healthiest person, you could be a vegan, you could jog every day, you can do whatever you want. And me and Veronica can be super healthy and do all these things, and I could be like the worst. Me and Veronica could have a trip and fall. Veronica can hit her head and be gone. And I can fall, bump my head, and be okay. The strangest thing I've ever seen is if somebody would have fallen and hit their head. You've seen that, right, Terri, where they'll fracture their head. And one person, they're okay. The other person is like, how did they die? Because if it's your time to go, you're gonna go. It doesn't matter if you trip over a cat.
I know a friend of mine, her husband fell on some ice, hit his head, and that was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
That's the scariest thing, a fall. And I'm like, because you don't know what's going to happen with a trip and fall. You could be gone or not. And so this whole idea of thinking that we have any control over life and death is an illusion.
Yeah, there's a family member that, I kept telling her, don't take the baby Jabberwocky, and she's like, well, I'd rather take them all than die from. Like, wow, that's crazy. All right, I got the lovers. Let's see here.
She gotta make me go here.
And I do not consent to falling, hitting my head, and dying, by the way. You know me, I'm always like, nope. Anyway, the lovers. The lover speaks of two energies. Two pieces coming together to journey. It is a reconciliation of opposites for a more cohesive experience. This is the card of Gemini, the twin energies of the self as represented by our mermaid. Is she seeing the other part of who she is, or is she seeing who she wishes to be? This is one of the many questions the lovers raises. Do you know what your other path even looks like? Can you even identify the energy that surrounds your vibrational self, the self not tainted with ego? Making time to get to know yourself is important. Making time to love and honor yourself is a part of setting the foundation for all relationships that come next. So this is a time now to reevaluate what you don't like yourself about, what you don't like, said it backward, and clear out those mirrors, those closets, those things from childhood memories. Get your star chart. I just got my star chart from Blaze Bay, and I'll put down the information, and it just, I couldn't get past my the child chart, because I was so sad that my parents didn't treat me the way they were supposed to treat me, because I have autism. I have autism, high functioning.
Really?
They didn't know that. They just said, Veronica, every time she asked for water, she'll go, like agua. I was trying to say, even my mom took a picture of me when I was a kid going, making fun of me with her aunt, with my
You better
aunt.
be glad they didn't have an iPhone back then. You be
So they
recorded it all.
They always had me in special classes. They had me in ESL classes, English as a second language. They always said that I didn't know how to speak English because my first language was Spanish, which is bull crap. They made all kinds of excuses for me to feel stupid, and I'm not stupid. I'm very, very smart. But some words my mind thinks so much faster than I can get it out,
Yeah.
So it's been a journey. I just found out I had that this year. Someone
With the autism?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm like, dang, how did I go to college? How did I get a 3.0 my junior year in college? I'm a savant pretty much in music. I can pick up my violin anytime and play whatever, I always wanted to be the best, because at home I was being treated so poorly. So I'm the opposite. I was like, I got attention at school. Hey, I got a straight A. Hey, I got an award. Hey, I got a scholarship to go, Flagstaff to play So that to me was my drive and when I was a kid, because at home it was hell, but then you have the opposite where you're like, you just get out of school because you don't want to, you don't want to, I don't know, just something happens. But it's been a journey.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how my son develops, because he's on the spectrum, and what I'm learning to do is just relax and let him do his thing at his own pace and kind of get out. It's like you give a certain amount of support, but then back up and let the person grow,
Yeah, that is a good thing to use. It's called reach and withdrawal. They use that in Scientology. When you reach too much, that person is going to retaliate. Like,
yeah,
I'm going to go hide forever till you leave me alone. And then you got to let that person come back and say, hey, it's like a give and take, like a dance. Like, not too much reaching, not too much withdrawal. It's a balance.
Yeah, luckily he gets a lot of time, because I'm on Zoom with Terri, so he is. It's like, child, I don't got time for you. I'm going on this Zoom real quick, so mom got stuff to do.
My whole thing is I did heal somewhat. I'll say halfway of anger issues. I do have the name the Hulk. I got it in the police academy. Thank you.
Okay.
My dad, they used to call him the Hulk. Because if I don't eat, I get really mad and start throwing stuff. Not anymore, but I'm able to control that. It's just I get angry when there's injustice.
Yes.
And that's, oh gosh, I have to watch it on that.
Yeah.
But sometimes the words, they don't want to come out. And I have all these big words, because I used to read, I still do. I'll sit there and read the dictionary, like, because I get bored or whatever. I pick up stuff really fast, and it's like if like my tongue is twisted, but it's not. And then I have a lisp. I just discovered I had a lisp watching myself on YouTube, like when I finally decided to go, do my readings and in 2018. And then I started getting infiltrated because I was talking about super soldier stuff. I've had 3 channels and I don't know how many emails, and had my website taken down, infiltrated.
So do you think because you were talking about that, like it draws like a more stranger crowd of people? Because it seems like
they're just jealous. There's people.
Okay.
thousands and thousands of viewers and subscribers, but and they'll send people, they have sent them to me because I'm a psychic, I'm able to tell the future, I'm able to, verify if they were in the programs or not. Um, so what happens is they used to come at me and say, hey, can you do a reading for me? And blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I'd like to do a show with you. And then they do a show with me. They get whatever they wanted from me. And then they'd go back to this group because
Wow.
they didn't want to separate from them when I told them, hey, you don't need them. You have your own will, you have your own journey. You don't need to be stuck with these people that are constantly giving you this hive mind mentality and, oh, well, remember that memory, and oh yeah, me too, and then me too, and then oh my gosh, and then they create bullshit too at the same time, excuse my language. But I got to the point where, you know what, don't come to me anymore. If you're just going to use me to go back to the big school, what do they call it, the treehouse, the big kids treehouse. You know what I mean? They come to me. Because I would get so mad and I would ask a certain person, I'm like, why do they come to me and then go over there? And it's because over there, they don't have psychics. They need psychics to come over here to verify shit. And then they go and then they create stories. And that would piss me off. And now it's like, you know what? You don't want to be disconnected from them because you're giving your power away, then go ahead and give your power away. I'm not going to help you no more. I'm not going to sit here and say, do your own thing. Go help other people to be aware of their own power. You don't need to be connected to this AI super soldier hive mind to be controlled, because it's like that movie, on Fridays we wear pink. What is it? Mean Girls. They get so much like popularity over there.
Right.
And so what happened to me?
It's hard for people to not be part of a group because they feel like they gain clout from being in the group. Right. And it's like,
be in a group.
but you actually get undermined because you're in the group. And then the group controls, like you can't talk to certain people, you can't be around certain people, you can't be yourself truly, because if you start to use your voice and it's not the same, echo chamber that you're in, if you have an outside thought, that's usually not going to be allowed in the group. And we've just gotten to the point where we're talking on a daily basis about just being in alignment with yourself, being in the army of one and being happy with that. And it's hard because we by nature, we want to be in a flock, right? But the flock, we just end up creating new churches all the time. Same thing that you started with, oh, well, if you don't wear pink on Friday, then you're going against, like you're not a good member of the church, because the best members of the church will always remember to wear pink on Friday. And, and I don't know.
I wanted to talk about,
I don't want to be held up and tied down with other people's thoughts, feelings, and opinions.
Yeah, I wanted you to talk about that. I don't like this echo that's going on. Thug in the Suburbs running the show by Lady Erika. We were talking about that. Energy vampire snakes in church and anywhere. It could be in that club.
Snakes in the church. Like, people don't know about snakes in the church, do
like
they?
Snakes on a plane.
I'm tired of these mother freaking snakes in the mother freaking church, right? And so spiritual communities are the perfect place for people to come and take advantage, because you're over here trying to be a good person and carry all this juicy energy, and other people, they haven't graduated from that old thinking, but they know that they can do the same snaky activities in church because they don't have to fight the other snakes. The snakes in church, they can outsnake everybody because they're at church. They're not in the world, bumping up against other snakes. And so, just like you were saying, energy vampires, where's the best place to go give the most energy? Where there's the most bleeding heart people, and they're the most people who are traumatized already and who aren't standing fully in their power and who are so used to being overgivers and who are just want to love everybody. And so when they, you can be a spiritual person, but depending on your development, whether you've come in your voice where you can stand your ground and speak your mind, and, if you're not fully in touch, with your chakras, owning, your thoughts and feelings, and not feeling guilty, because we're always suffering, feeling guilty when we don't do things. And did we hurt someone's feelings? This is how most people get away with doing a bunch of nasty stuff, is because you actually care about other people's feelings. So you feel guilty about every little thing you do. You don't want to have to rebuke somebody or put them in their place. And so these people get to be around us, and what do you call it? Being a habitual line stepper, right? They push you to your limit until you push back. So we have to learn to push back. Terri, what is your thought? Because it's just like we have to develop,
Well, and there's always going to be people trying, right? And so that's when we have to really sort of go inside and really connect with who we are, and just be that person, hold strong to our conviction of who we are, instead of listening to what other people are, and other people trying to push our buttons. And they easily do. But I think when we come back inside to ourselves, then we find that inner strength, because that's how we're connected to the divine, or to source, or whatever. Is if we can do that, then we can find a way of maneuvering around those energies, because those energies are going to be, they're always going to be around us, whether it's the lady in the white hat or it's the guy in the supermarket. They're always going to be around us. If we can overcome one, then what the next one offers, we can find our inner guidance.
Yeah, or the lady in red.
Yeah, the lady in red. I was going to say, here we are, because it's when we're coming out of church backgrounds too, and we got to be polite and worry about what other people think, and we don't want to look bad, and don't want to make too much noise, don't speak too loud, don't take up too much space, don't, so we're just being taught all these proprieties to suppress our good thinking. No, that she's not doing that, and we make all these excuses for people, and we placate, and we just learn to suppress our instincts constantly. As children, we're being taught, give her a hug, give them a kiss, go stay at their house, take this juice, do this thing, stand in the line, do what everybody else is doing, follow the leader. Literally taught to follow the leader, right? If you play sports or any type of group activities like that, yes, you have to look the same and act the same. Mm-hmm. But Terri, I'll let you go.
Now, I was just going to say, and this is how they've infiltrated everything, right? That they've infiltrated our way of thinking for so long, and it's made it part of our culture, that this is what we have to do, and this is the way you do it, and it's prescribed by our church, it's prescribed by our school, it's prescribed by just being a part of any group, that we have to fit in. And so they try to make us all sheep. And as soon as you have that individual way of thinking, then you're shunned. You're no longer part of the group, and we all want to belong. So
go along to get along.
Yeah. What's your card there, Veronica?
Yeah, no, I was just laughing at what you're saying. It's true, This one is the Hierophant. Hierophant.
Oh, yeah,
the 5 is also for change. It says, while the high priestess represents our internal spiritual working, the Hierophant is a figure of benign externalized spirituality, a representative of spiritual authority, guidance, and tradition. The keys mark the Hierophant as a gatekeeper, though there may be some preparation and commitment necessary. It may be worthwhile to seek an organized outlet for a shared expression of spirituality.
Isn't that interesting? Because he's the gatekeeper, right?
Yeah.
You got to go through him to get there, right? And
But,
you got to get his
but here,
permission.
yeah, but here though, the way I see it is
Yeah.
that you got to be your own
Yes,
gatekeeper.
yes, yes.
Share of your
So
heart.
normally he's the gatekeeper, but now you got the keys
Yeah.
to not allow people to gatekeep you. And that honestly, it still goes back to that very same thing that you talked about. Like, oh, if you eat meat, who told you that? Upon whose authority was that put upon me that said don't eat meat?
Girl, you know, ladies, okay, what is going on this weekend is Easter Sunday, right? So I was looking at this thing on somebody sent me something, and you know they don't eat fish on Friday. I remember my daddy would not eat, we would not eat meat for 40 days, 49. I had to give up chocolate when I was
What?
Catholic, and we had to eat fish on Fridays. So I was looking at this demi-urge thing, and yeah, he's the
Oh,
fish god of the
yes.
underworld, and it kind of reminded me of Wakanda too, because they also have the beings that are under you know, the blue beings. But this one here, I think I shared it. Oh, okay, here it is. It says
headdress of hat that the Pope wears.
This
And
Max, what's his
Pactified
name?
God named Dagon.
Dagon.
Dagon was a god of the Philistines. And Dagon comes from the word dag, which means fish. So now,
So I better stop it right there. I don't want my video to be taken down. But yes, you see the hat? It's not, it looks like a fish.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny the way it is because it's like a fish is sucking your brains out. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Like a fish sucking your brains, like sucking on your brains.
I'll be right back.
All right. Holy cow. So I'm really curious about the big fish head thing, though. It doesn't make sense.
Well, I understand. And people can certainly look this up, but I understand that there was a group of beings that came from, I believe it was the Sirius B star system. It might have been, maybe it was the Sirius A, but we would call them the dolphin people or the fish people. And so they had become one of those groups that became the gods. So it may be that that's, you know, what that particular group may have been the one that they were emanating, emulating with the hats and all that kind of stuff.
They are actually called the bipedal Yahweh dolphins.
Right.
Wow.
And it's Sirius B because I have a past life of being a mermaid, so. And the 13 crystal cities, I remember all that.
Okay.
Have you seen
Man, you've done the work, Veronica. I said you've done the work, Veronica. That's some cool stuff.
It is cool. The fish sticks.
I was like, wait a minute, I did have fish sticks today. How did she know? Like,
the fish
wow.
bumper stickers.
Right. He went into saying that that's why they put the fish bumper stickers. Because of the fish. And well, they make it seem like it's because Jesus, because they were fishermen, though, because we're supposed to be fishermen of souls now. But even that analogy, it's like, wow, you're fishing for souls.
Yeah. And then the breaking of the bread and fish, that was my favorite story growing up. And it's weird because I have many dreams of feeding thousands of people. And then anytime, if say like somebody comes over, like my kids, and say I got like maybe one piece of meat or chicken, I don't know how, but I find something to make a feast. It's fun. But Miss Terri, I interrupted you. What else do you know about these beings?
Well, that was just a gist of it. I was, doing some research in it, and so I think I want to do more on it. But I think a lot of the religious figures that we see are not necessarily God. They may be figures from other, planetary systems that have just gotten this complex that they like to be in control of something. And yeah.
Yep, that's kind of the biggest thing. I saw this movie called The Law of the Sun, and it's a cartoon, and it actually starts with life on Venus, and it was just talking about how the different type of life forms were planted in different places. And when we came here, it showed us without bodies, like we were light bodies. And then they had some kind of triton machine or something where we were already souls, but then they were showing how they made new souls and how there was a council of 12. And it also showed something too, that there were reptile beings already here and that they were being exterminated. And I said, okay, so see, this would be, why would the reptiles be upset? Because they already had colonized here.
Yeah, they're called monsters. Leave me alone, whoever is trying to F up my stuff here. So anyway, it's called, they're called, look up the Lacerta files. And those reptilians are claiming, those are the ones that had the tail.
Right, they had tails.
They're claiming to be the owners of Mother Earth.
Right, they already had feet down. So a lot of people get really upset when they hear about reptiles, but it's like, oh, we were kind of like interrupting somebody when they were already doing something here. And
yeah, but
so,
I think there are different reptiles than the ones that we're speaking about, right? I think they were a different type of a reptile, but when the draconian ones came in, they assimilated this group. Yeah.
Yes, when the Alpha Draconis came in, yes. And another thing, if you read the Terra papers, there's this thing of the SSS queens and the SSS kings, and the queens are the ones with the way I see it is the triangle pointing down, and the males are the ones with the triangle pointing up. And they have a planet that is next to ours. Now, if you follow Ashiana Dean, which I don't follow her no more, but I took what I could to learn something, is the different beings that were, here over millions and millions of years, and it's their war. So it's the Aldebaran versus pretty much the Alpha Draconius, and somewhere in there we have the SS Queens and SS Kings. If you notice, I gave a class on this, how the brain, the stomach, the large intestine, small intestine, why does it look like snakes, right?
mm-hmm.
And then I was talking about Anubis too. When Anubis, he was in charge of making sure that those worms were taken out, right? Why is it that even to this day, when they bury someone, they take the organs out, because also they do organ harvesting, remember that, unfortunately. They take the organs out of people, and then they sew their mouth, right? They take their eyeballs out. The eyeballs have memory.
Oh, wow.
Of our lifetimes. So I find that interesting. The Egyptian Book of the Dead that we were talking about, Miss Lady Erika, First Lady Erika, we were talking about how everything emulates the religion now from the Egyptian Book of the Dead.
Including the way that we mistreat each other on a daily basis, even though we're supposed to be advanced light beings and light workers, and we keep reproducing these cycles of abuse for each other. We're so ingrained into, and this is what we were saying, is when you're addicted to cult behavior, it doesn't matter if you come out of the Mormons and you're like, hey, the Mormons were wrong because they did this. You go join the Church of Christ, and then you join, whatever. Now you join a New Age cult,
Yeah.
So it's hard to escape that mentality that we need to have a leader telling us what to do.
Yeah, and that's our job here. One of many is, to balance things, because the left side, they made this body, these ETs, Because you remember, we are bioluminescence. We are the stars that fall. We are the planets, the asteroids. And they somehow, machined us, the bioluminescence, and then boom, they got this body here. And well, my body grew this way because I got O negative blood, you know what I'm saying? And then my head is really big because I have Anunnaki blood. And then I got Alpha Draconis, I got the mermaid. So I got all of us here on Earth that are human, in human form this time, have a split in the middle, and that's the left side is the reptilian and the right side is the mammalian dolphin side, the giving, the loving. So in the church, they say, oh, you got an angel and a demon, an angel and the devil. It's like, motherfucker, we got a cross now. That cross goes, that is me, that's my heart, and I'm gonna push through and break all these stupid things that they're trying to tell us who we are and what we must do, and we need a savior. No, we don't.
Yeah. We're our own.
Yes.
We're our own. Yeah. We have to just realize that we do have that. We have the creator within us, right?
Now, the duality, remember, everything that you see in Disney and movies, black and white, the black and white checkerboard, the black and white swirl, that is MK Ultra right there. You have to be careful what kind of music they're showing you in that particular scene of that movie. Are you going upstairs? Are you going downstairs in the movie? What are the words, code words? What are they trying to make you believe in this movie? Or, you know what I'm saying? It's always a chess game for them. It's always white versus black.
Your friend told me this. Power lady, she said these code words certain people use around you. It's like, all right, boys and girls. And it's like, yeah, that isn't the Disney cartoon. It sure is. We're going to start class. And it's like, there's some Pavlov's dog. People, be careful who you're watching, even in these videos, and be careful who you're talking to. What do they get out of you watching them? What are they giving you in return? Because I can say, like, I'm around you, Terry, Jonathan. It's like none of us are saying, follow me, listen to me. I have the rules for you. And if you don't listen to me, you're not going to make it. And if you don't believe what I believe, you're not going to make it. And when people are trying to pound this into you, I mean, isn't that what we are used to, right? That brimstone teaching that you're going to burn in the lake of fire and you better, get this book right. And we're still carrying on these same fire and brimstone teachings, but we're doing it in yoga pants, It's like, hey, like some, Bikram yoga, the guy who came up with Bikram yoga, like he turned all the people training to be his the teachers. He turned them all into slaves, had sex with them. He would keep them like servants. They would have to serve him and stuff.
They drank the Kool-Aid, right?
Yeah, they drank. Everybody quit with this Jim Jones Kool-Aid drinking stuff. If you're losing your power, this is how I know that I'm happy in friendships and relationships. If I can give myself everything to make myself happy, and it's not talking about monetary, but yeah, monetary too. If you're around people and all of a sudden you got to start selling stuff and going to the pawn shop or just constantly financially supporting them, or mentally you're becoming more drained as you're around these people, this is how you can measure if someone's really good for you or not. If it's involving the source or creator, even if you did use the Bible as an example, it says add to, spring forward, and multiply. In your relationships, is someone adding to you, pushing you forward, or helping you multiply? This is when you know you're in a good relationship, friendships and romantic. If you're not being added to, pushed forward, or multiplied, there's something going on. And so you just be careful. And then once you're not using your throat chakra, people want to suppress your throat because your big mouth, they don't want to hear it, okay? They don't want your opinions and your thoughts and your truth. And so when you begin to start telling your truth and living your truth, you will notice certain people will withdraw from you. Why? Because they were receiving something out of it in the beginning. And maybe you didn't really understand that. So we have to grow to understand that. That's why I say you have to figure out, do people align with you? Get your mind right. What do you believe? What are your bottom lines? What do they say that when you say if you date somebody, it's like a absolute no, like your bottom line deal breaker. What are your deal breakers? You got to figure out who you are and what you want in your life and what you don't want in your life and what you absolutely will not accept. And then now when I'm around people, are they breaking my rules?
That is
Are they trying to make me, what do you call that? People who gaslight you. You say, oh, well, why are you doing this? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm just being comfortable. I'm just being me. Why are you so? And you're like literally telling this person, I don't like that. You're breaking one of my rules. But they want to make you feel bad when you let them know they're breaking your rules. That should be a key to me. If Veronica says, Erika, don't say the V word on my show. And I'm like, what do you mean? This is the way I talk. This is the way I do it. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. Then, hey, then maybe me and Veronica doesn't align with me. And she can decide, I'm not putting up with that. Erika's not in alignment with me. You don't have to give up everything you have to be friends. Yes, there's this point where we have to be flexible with people, but what are your deal breakers when it comes to people and groups?
And that aligns with this card. This is the 8 of Chalices. You have taken practical steps to change your life. Though your circumstances are challenging, you are prepared to meet any incoming obstacles. You are determined to take yourself away from a bad situation and toward the life you want for yourself. That's right. Right?
That's why I'm an oracle, right? Like, I was like, yeah.
Right. That's good.
And I like it too because it's by water. I see water and then there's a castle and she's debating, well, I'm here naked. That means I strip myself down of whatever material. And then she can have it all. She can have it all or, go get a castle or stay in the wilderness.
Even more so. Let's go deeper with that.
Yes.
Because a lot of people would rather be up in the castle with the fancy man and the fancy car and all the jewelry. This lady said, I'll give up every damn thing, start over and be butt naked. And I'd rather have nothing than to be oppressed by the rules that come from this house, because that's not just a house. That's a like you think about royalty and how people say, if you think about Princess Diana and having to do what the queen says, and I got to dress this way and I got to follow these rules and I got to, I got to turn left and I got to take certain pictures and I have to be at certain lunches and dinners. It's like, would you rather be under control of that system just to live inside that fancy house? Or would you rather be with this man who plays basketball, football, who's a rapper or whatever the hell it is that he does, so you can be glamorous and have that money, but then you have to do what that person tells you? Or would you rather have your freedom?
I'd rather have my freedom all the time. I will always choose this woman here, myself.
I have to say something about that too, because I know a lot of people, they think that people are happy because they have money. And it's like, I know I have a family member and she's, oh, I thought you were happy because you were in a relationship. Or, oh, I thought you're happy because, somebody had a certain amount of money. They look at certain family members and maybe they have a big house and a big car. And I'm like, that doesn't mean that they're happy. And it doesn't even mean that they're rich. Just means that they might owe a lot more people some money. You know what I'm saying? like everything isn't all what we think it is, and we don't know. And then I think some people think too, because somebody's white or because they got money, that life is easy. And it's like, no, everybody has a different kind of struggle. Some way, somehow they have a different struggle.
It's like I was watching the series called Gilmore Girls, and I had to stop because of all the freaking programming. The wife was married to this man who had his own, insurance business. He went to Yale and they're trying to get their granddaughter to Yale, and she has to do all these charity balls and just, she's always very like, you know, in her suit and very, you know, always have to wear the makeup and everything all like big, and these dinners. And even the man would talk about, oh, my time at Yale was just a dream, because most of the time, you know, I was being thrown out in this mattress. I was tied to 2 mattresses, thrown out the window, you know. And what is that also? That is also the society, the Black Skull Society, the Black Sun Society, where most of those men are gay, and they just have sex with each other. And then the women are over here, you know, doing their balls and looking pretty all the time and being a perfect wife and, you know, programming their children. And then the men are over here walking around, excuse me.
Yeah, I was just thinking that about the fashion industry, because a long time ago I wrote a post. Now, Jed, don't get me wrong. I love cosplay. I love that show Face Off, where the makeup and I really did used to like RuPaul Drag Race a whole fucking lot. But what I noticed about women is we come from a time when women really, you used to put on some mascara and some eyeliner and some lipstick and you was doing it big. You know what I'm saying? But now we got these shoes that are huge, these eyelashes, and we're putting on all this makeup, and then we're going to put on contour, and then we're going to put on, and I'm looking at people like, how do you make it through the day without being like, you know, like, how do you do it? And you got your bra and you're pushing it up, and you got your belt and you're squeezing it in, you got your butt, you're trying to make it look bigger, or you're doing a BBL. You know, when you get your income tax check, you're gonna go take your stomach and pump it into your butt, or put some rubber cement up in there or something like that. And I'm like, I told a girl today, yeah, I said, I'm not willing to do it. So I'm going to take the champion road and just count the fact that I was strong enough to make it through the army, to bust out a baby and just be a good mom, and just be like, that's my proof that I'm a woman. Because I don't need any of these things to prove that I'm a woman. And a lot of the women that are taking up this plight to actually try to mimic this culture, you are competing with transgenders, because women don't walk around looking like that. I don't need eyelashes and pumped up lips and lifted up cheeks, and I got boobs. These are mine. I don't have to do anything extra to them to prove that I'm a woman. And so if you're actually manipulating your body to the point where you have to go cut and slice and these things, then you are missing the point. And I also, on the opposite end, as a feminist would do, I don't have to strip naked and show my butt online. I don't have to put my vagina and scream, I'm a woman. And I don't have to run out and teach the divine masculine a damn thing. All I have to do is be my loving self and bring in the light that Source has given to me. And all these things, I'm doing them all at once.
Yeah,
and I'm still I wrote about it, and not one person said a peep. And really,
you know,
our makeup standards are not that stuff that people are doing. It has nothing to do with us, honey.
There's this thing that I did for 30 days, actually 29. Yeah, today's the 6th, right? So from the 6th of March to the 6th today, I did a 30-day challenge, and nobody took it but me. I said 30-day challenge, no posting on stories on my 9 platforms other than, you know, my YouTube channel and my little tiny group on Instagram. So I'm like, all right, because then you know, you get this bug, you know, it's just AI, like, you got to post this in really fast, and you got to you can't even breathe, you got to post it to everybody has to know. And it's like,
and you want to record it, you want to screenshot, record, and
and I said, calm down, Vero, we're gonna do this. If nobody else does it, I'm gonna do it for me. And I did it, and I got so much peace out of it, because I didn't want to do that anymore. And talking about and
who the hell am I talking to out there? Who am I talking to? Because they're only gonna get in an argument. I'm gonna tell you about a stupid argument when you get done.
And what I posted was, stop being an attention whore. I think only 3 people liked it.
Thirst trapping and attention whores. Like, I see really hot guys with no shirt on. I'm like, unfriend. I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to see your nipples. I I don't want to see that. I don't want to turn on my Instagram and see. I saw this lady's butt one day, and I thought they were doing a porn, but it was really her having a baby. But I didn't sign up for that either, because it's getting to the point where people are like, "It's beautiful, it's natural." Okay, but I didn't give you permission to show me that. I wasn't looking for that on Telegram today or Instagram today. You should go a special place to go see babies popping out somebody's butt and somebody back there like a catcher. I didn't ask for that. And so now see, this is the thing where someone's going to gaslight you and try to make you feel bad because, well, it's just natural. That's somebody's ass. That's not nobody I know in my family having a baby. That's just a naked ass. I'm sorry. All the beautiful things in the world. All the beautiful things in the world. I don't need to show anybody my ass to prove that I exist. This is where it is. You know what I'm saying? And so I won't even tell you about that stupid story. I posted, okay, so it was this thing called Caucasian seasoning, right? So the white lady was offended because she thought it was making fun of white people, white woman seasoning, right? She compared it to Soylent Green because it was people. Then the black girl saw it and she was like, what? They don't have African-American seasoning. I was like, you know what? We can't win, can we? This person's mad because it's white. This person's mad because it's white. Like this racial thing that they've done to us to divide us and make us feel like we're each one, that's why I'm not into like royal bloodlines we're all royal, we're all beautiful. We got to get out of this spiral and this back and forth and then being overly offended or hyper offended about stuff all the time, always offended. But anyway, it was just ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. And then I put a Caucasian shepherd, and then the one girl says, are we eating dogs? I'm like, what? Where you come from with the dogs? Like, what? Because I was just showing Caucasian shepherd like a German shepherd. Caucasus Mountains is a place, and I know you know that because you're like very well versed about the planet, but a lot of people don't know about the Caucasus Mountains, and it represents like 50 different ethnicities. But boy, that word Caucasian and everybody was just triggered by the word Caucasian.
Yeah, there's also the Caucasus Mountains. There's also the Caucasus. There's a Stargate. I think it's in.
Most definitely.
Something like that. Yeah. So, but I find it funny that a lot of women every freaking day they take a selfie every day. How many times do you pout your mouth a day to do, and I remember back in the day, I was not allowed to wear lipstick, and I'd be in 8th grade taking my red lipstick, after basketball practice, I put a little bit on and walk home and then take it off before my mama saw me.
Yeah. Everybody had that book bag makeup. They had it hidden in their book bag. Yeah.
Gloss. Yeah. So, I remember selling Avon off the books, before I was 16, I was like 13 helping this lady sell Avon and Tupperware because, I wanted to get my little things and stuff like that. And I remember when it was just like the eyeliner, the mascara, and the lipstick. And then when I got older, it was the makeup. Now you're right, because
no, you got to draw in, you got to put a whole mask on, and then you got to put 2 lines by your nose to prove that your nose exists, right? And then you got to put a different line in the middle, and then you got to blend that, and then you got to put something right here to put the thing right. I'm like, oh my God, by the time you watch one of those makeup tutorials, but here it is. What I do notice though is the ones that they do, it'll be people with skin conditions sometimes. And you're like, how do you heal your face if you put that on? Like, what are you doing to heal? Because now I'm thinking you have something where you need to do a detox and you need to do something internally to like fix this, that throwing makeup on top. And then for God's sakes, if you took that off and a man saw what you look like for real, God forbid, he would not recognize you. like if I don't recognize you without your makeup on, then that's a huge statement. I'm even seeing people with doing suction to their lips or something.
I know.
Something's wrong. I'm looking at people like, I see the suction, and I'm like, why are we doing this?
So it's all sexual, like the big lips, and I usually don't wear makeup. Sometimes, like today, I'm wearing makeup, but when I put it on, it feels, because I didn't wear it for a long time. I went all natural. Like, I'm right now I'm letting my hair grow out. But today I'm like, why not? My daughter gave me a really nice, makeup. She's a beautiful makeup artist. She's the one I don't know how to do it yet, and I don't do it. She does like the contouring here, and then light here, and then more powder. I didn't do anything today like that, but man, these women look like someone else when they're beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But I was like, I feel like I can't wait to take it off, in other words, because it feels like it's sucking my face. Like it's covering, you know what I mean? Like it's my pores. I can't breathe. And
Yeah, I ended up wiping mine off because I've already been out. I've already wiped mine off for the day. Like this lipstick, I'm good. I already blotted mine off. I had highlight and some
yeah,
lipstick and some.
I love makeup. I do. I love all the trends.
No, and I think people should enjoy it. I just
Yeah.
feel like enjoy yourself, express yourself, but don't feel that you have
Yeah, you have
watch
to.
out what you're taking as the standard. Like whose standards are you adopting? If this is the thing that makes you happy, then do it because it makes you happy. But I've gotten to where I've been invited to cigar bars or places where other business owners go. I didn't want to go because I just don't want to wear them super tall shoes. Like I feel weird. Like these women are all with these super shoes and the tits are coming out. I mean, people are going to church with the cleavage and everything. So it's just like regular life is a bit rough.
Yeah, well, Terry, this is what we started off with Miss Terry saying, if you want to put on your fake nails, do it for you. Before we go though, for the longest time, because I have body dysphoria, because my mother would make herself regurgitate. She would take the pills to lose the weight. She would always talk crap about her body, her arms. So I inherited that, and now that I'm older, I was thinking the other day, I'm not going to get a tummy tuck. No, I'm not going to get a boob lift. No, I'm not going to do my arms. I'm going to be natural. For the longest time at the gym, I stopped this. Let's see, when did I stop doing this? I stopped doing this 6 months ago now, but for full 3 years, I was putting on a girdle on top of another girdle because I didn't want my panza, my stomach, to be popped out, to show. I was embarrassed. And then I started getting sick because the things were grinding into my body, the hooks. And I know that they can send energy weapons to the bras, to the ones that have the what do you call that? The wire. Okay. The bras also have antennas. If you undo the tag, they have red or green, those are antennas. And I realized that I was hurting myself, that I was not loving myself. And I said, F this, who am I trying to prove to that I'm beautiful? I'm already beautiful, even if I don't wear makeup, even if I don't wear those tight. Because ever since I was 12, my mom made us wear a belt on our stomach, a tight belt to form our hourglass shape. It was hard. It was tough. And she would, say, well, wear the plastic bags on you when me and my sisters would clean. And it was just very programmed in my life. So now I'm like, well, they don't like me. Oh, well, I'm not here to impress anybody. I'm here to work out, and I'm not looking for no husband. I'm my own husband. You know what I mean? I'm my own wife. I'm my own king. I'm my own queen. So anyway, any last words? And we can do this again next week if you guys want to. Any last
Certainly.
words? Certainly.
I said too much. I ranted, so I'm gonna be quiet.
No, I could go on and on and on.
This has been just so enjoyable, Veronica. You're just, I would love to hear some of your stories of your adventures off world.
Yeah, maybe it could be like yeah.
That would be so exciting.
Thank you. They are on my YouTube channel, this one, and then also Unchained Hearts. If you look up Unchained Hearts, I'm also on Gigi's Shift Happens. I'm on Pirate Radio, which is anyway, just Google my name there. And these people, since I went to that thing in 21 in Las Vegas to speak, a lot of people wanted to ask myself, oh, also Super Soldier Talk, Super Soldier Lady Talk, just they're out there. But yeah, I mean, if you listen to them and if you have any questions, you can always, we can do it another time, or you can ask me in person, like on the phone or whatever. I'll have Miss Lady Erika can give you my phone number too. So I just had to change it because there was a lot of people calling me private that were trying to infiltrate me again, and that I know who they were. And I'm like, oh
Yeah,
no.
you got to start for public talk. You got to use Google phone. Get you a Google phone. I know people don't like the idea of that, but
I got a track phone, but that track phone is only for emergencies, and that's only for my family. So
yeah,
track phones are what they call now. Kids call them burn phones now.
burners. Yeah.
Yeah, you can get them at Walmart. But Miss Terri, how can anyone get a hold of you, and what do you do, and what do you like to do? Things like that.
Well, I am I'm working on a website, but I'm on Telegram and under Terri Smith. And I do work with the Akashic Records and axiotonal alignments. Those are things that I like to do. I do many other things, but that's how I do Akashic journeys with people. So it's always a wonderful experience for people to connect with their soul's mission. So that's, yeah. And you can catch me with First Lady Erika, and we do meditations and chats and stuff. So under Erika's Woman of the Stars.
Thank you. And do you have an email that they can get a hold of you, or just shoot you a telegram?
Yes, and they can get a hold of me at smith.terri.528@gmail.com. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And I appreciate you being here. And we'll do it again.
Yes, we'll do it again.
Thank you. And Miss the First Lady Erika Wombman, how can they get a hold of you?
The First Lady Erika at gmail.com. And then if you go to Linktree and then the / just type in the First Lady calendar, the First Lady Erika on the Linktree. So
thank you. That was something you showed me, and I did the same thing. Thank you so much.
Yes, and she's a quick learner. I was really impressed that you did it like the same day too. That was pretty awesome. But yeah, we do. She does these meditations with us, and then even on our Telegram channel, Women of the Stars group chat. On Tuesdays we do Terri Tuesdays, and we hang out and pull a card free tarot reading, and it ends up being like a whole life coaching session, group life coaching session and stuff. So it's really fun to be able to talk to people and just be real and authentic and loving. And if you can't be loving and kind, then just get on away from everybody. Just get away. That's it.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for being on Codebreaker Real Talk. Check out Unchaining Hearts, Unchained Hearts. What else? I'm on Telegram. I'm on all 9-10 platforms, Facebook. I'll put my little link there, the Linktree. It's called Linktree, right?
Yeah.
So
Linktree and then /.
So mine is Linktree /Codebreaker Real Talk, and Miss Lady Erika's is Linktree /the First Lady.
The First Lady Erika. I know I make people tired because they're like, why your name so long? But hey.
Well, if they really want to find us all, ladies, they will. If not, see ya. Wouldn't want to be on. Thank you for being on.
Yeah.
Have a great day, and see you next week, ladies.
Bye. We're going to have to get some of that music one day.